In recent years, the concept of canceling an individual, which means preventing them from having a prominent public platform or career due to cultural reasons, has sparked a contentious debate. This practice, referred to as cancel culture, is frequently associated with a recurring pattern. When a public figure or celebrity makes offensive remarks or commits offensive acts, politically progressive social media often leads to public outrage. This, in turn, leads to calls to cancel the individual, essentially ending their career or cultural influence through boycotts of their work or disciplinary action from their employer. For many individuals, publicly calling out others for their actions and boycotting their work if necessary has become a crucial method of achieving social justice. This collective approach can help to balance the enormous power imbalances that frequently exist between public figures with far-reaching platforms and audiences, and the individuals and communities their words and actions may harm. For many individuals, publicly calling out others for their actions and boycotting their work if necessary has become a crucial method of achieving social justice. This collective approach can help to balance the enormous power imbalances that frequently exist between public figures with far-reaching platforms and audiences, and the individuals and communities their words and actions may harm. However, conservative politicians and pundits argue that cancel culture has spiraled out of control and become an irrational form of social media mob rule. At the 2020 Republican National Convention, speakers including President Trump spoke out directly against cancel culture, and a delegate resolution even specifically targeted the phenomenon, stating that it encourages lawlessness, muting citizens, and violating free exchange of ideas, thoughts, and speech. In reality, it is extremely challenging to completely end someone's career through the power of public backlash. While public figures may face significant criticism and calls to be held accountable for their statements and actions, very few have actually experienced career-ending consequences. For instance, J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, faced intense criticism from her own fans for expressing transphobic beliefs. However, despite being one of the most prominent individuals cancelled in the cancel culture debate, the sales of her books increased dramatically in Great Britain following the publication of a transphobic manifesto in June 2020. When public figures who ostensibly face cancellation receive continued support, it suggests that being the target of criticism and backlash does not necessarily destroy one's livelihood, but can instead elicit public sympathy. However, individuals like Shane Gillis, who lost his job at Saturday Night Live in 2019 after past racist and homophobic jokes were exposed, often portray cancel culture as a form of celebrity hunting season, an unstoppable force that ruins the careers of anyone who challenges society's moral boundaries. This framing often depicts the offender as a victim of reckless vigilante justice. Comedian Norm Macdonald, in a 2018 interview, highlighted how few people have experienced losing everything in a single day, referring to comedians like Louis C.K. and Roseanne Barr, who lost their jobs and fans that year. C.K. confessed to sexual misconduct, while Barr made a racist tweet. While some may argue that the victims of these actions are the ones who suffered, Macdonald pointed out that they did not have to endure the same level of public backlash. These debates raise questions about whether cancel culture is a useful tool of social justice or a form of merciless mob intimidation. If canceling someone typically has little measurable effect, does cancel culture actually exist? Alternatively, does the idea of being cancelled serve as a deterrent against potentially bad behavior? As cancel culture evolves from its humorous origins into a more serious conversation about how to hold public figures accountable for bad behavior, these questions are receiving increasing mainstream consideration. The conversation is not solely focused on when and how public figures should lose their status and livelihoods, but also on establishing new ethical and social norms and determining how to collectively respond when those norms are violated. Ironically, despite its frequent use to denounce sexism and misogyny, the term canceling has its roots in a misogynistic joke. The first reference to canceling someone can be found in the 1991 film New Jack City, where Wesley Snipes' character Nino Brown dumps his girlfriend by saying, "Cancel that bitch. I'll buy another one." Lil Wayne referenced this line in his 2010 song, "I'm Single," further perpetuating the phrase. The term gained mainstream attention in December 2014 on an episode of VH1's reality show Love and Hip Hop New York when cast member Cisco Rosado tells his love interest Diamond Strawberry during a fight, "You're cancelled." Black Twitter began to use the term as a reaction to disapproved actions, and it evolved into a way of responding to celebrities or entities whose behavior was deemed offensive. Despite its sexist origins, cancel culture has become a trend of collective boycotts of public figures whose actions are perceived as crossing moral boundaries. As the concept of cancel culture continues to evolve, it raises important questions about accountability and collective action in the age of social media. As cancel culture has become more prevalent, it has frequently been conflated with other related trends, such as call-out culture. Cancel culture can be seen as a natural escalation of call-out culture, moving from merely pointing out a problem to calling for the person responsible to be punished. However, these terms are often confused with broader trends of public shaming, and the media sometimes lumps them together under the term outrage culture. While these ideas may seem interchangeable, they are different in important ways. Call-out culture predates cancel culture and arose within online fandom communities, where fans would use criticism to address problematic aspects of pop culture or public figures. In contrast, cancel culture has roots in black culture and channels movements of black empowerment dating back to the civil rights boycotts of the 1950s and 60s. According to Ann Charity Hudley, who studies black vernacular and cultural conversations, canceling is a survival skill as old as the Southern black use of the boycott. Charity Hudley sees canceling as a way to reject pop culture that spreads harmful ideas and promote the empowerment of black people. It's a way for individuals to have power beyond measure, even if they lack the ability to change structural inequality. As social media platforms give marginalized communities a louder collective voice, cancel culture has become a way to refuse to participate in pop culture that is deemed harmful. However, as cancel culture gains mainstream attention, it has also gained material power in the eyes of many who wish to cancel it. It is a fact that some famous individuals have faced severe consequences, including job loss and reputational damage, due to their actions, resulting in what is often referred to as being cancelled. Examples include Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, and Kevin Spacey, who were charged with rape and sexual assault. Although all charges against Spacey were dropped, he remains unemployable due to the allegations against him. Similarly, Roseanne Barr lost her TV show due to a racist tweet, while Louis C.K. saw his career suffer after admitting to sexual misconduct. According to Catherine Squires, a professor of communication studies at the University of Minnesota, a cancel campaign is more effective when it causes significant embarrassment. However, this approach also creates alarm. Kevin Hart, for example, faced criticism for past homophobic jokes and tweets after being selected to host the Oscars. When prompted to address the matter, Hart refused to apologize and stepped down from the gig. He later issued an apology but continued to portray himself as a victim of public shaming. Some individuals view cancel culture as mob rule, and believe that even good intentions can be cancelled. However, proponents argue that such comparisons are hyperbolic and marginalize victims. For example, feminist performance artist Emma Sulkovich designed a protest performance after museum directors were asked if they would remove works by artist Chuck Close from their galleries following sexual harassment allegations against him. Sulkovich felt that survivors' voices were not included in the conversation and criticized the idea that museum walls would be bare without works by evil men. Cancel culture has become so inflammatory that the personal and political lines are blurring for many, as ideological divisions become seemingly insurmountable. Despite the fact that cancel culture rarely results in lasting consequences for celebrities, some see it as part of a broader trend that is deeply concerning: an inability to forgive and move on. Erin Rose, a diversity and inclusion consultant, used to support cancel culture and call-out culture, but has since turned his focus to conflict transformation. He believes that calling out and canceling may provide a short-term release of cathartic anger, but it does not result in the true change he desires. Similarly, Loretta Ross, a black feminist, views cancel and call-out culture as toxic, arguing that it often results in horizontal public shaming that targets people who mean no harm. Instead, she suggests that the focus should remain on those who profit from discrimination and injustice, rather than self-appointed guardians of political purity. While some proponents of canceling argue that the losses suffered by the cancelled person are outweighed by the need to change the behavior they embody, opponents of cancel culture like Erin Rose argue that rejecting cancel culture doesn't mean rejecting principles of social justice and equality. Rose believes that cancel culture doesn't allow for the possibility that people can change, which is a vital element of reconciliation and transformational approach to disagreements. However, Charity Hudley points out that cancel culture is a valuable tool for those who historically have not had a voice in conversations around wrongdoing, such as lower-income and disenfranchised communities. Cancel culture is a way for them to have a collective boycott and exercise their social, political, or professional power. But critics argue that cancel culture further divides people and stifles progress. Ultimately, cancel culture is a controversial and divisive topic, but its supporters view it as an important tool for meaningful change, while opponents argue that it can lead to a lack of forgiveness and reconciliation. The debate around cancel culture reflects a larger divide in navigating ideological differences and dealing with wrongdoing.